So I'm in Kansas at Baker University, and I thought I would just do a video blog, sort of because it's pretty actually, and I just wanted to stop, check it out. Look, it's flat. I miss the mountains, but hanging out in a field, no horses, but yeah, it's a gorgeous spring day. So anyways, I'm at Baker University, and I'm just driving away from a presentation. I was doing the presentation all day long, one right after another, admissions, and then faculty, and then students, and then a business class, and then student affairs at the end of the day. It was really an interesting day. So one good thing and one challenging thing that I'm still struggling with. One of the best things, one of the little tidbits that I got out of the day that I really like and I'm excited to play with, is we're always looking for metaphors, like different ways to explain the challenges around technological change and ways to show it so that people can understand it from a metaphorical perspective and not just an abstract philosophical perspective. So one of the things that came out of the staff training today, which was awesome, was that you're talking about language, and one of the faculty members was saying, I always correct students when they say, hey, when are you going to have your test done? Because then she emails back and says, oh no, it's doctor, and address it formally. And in the conversation, somebody else said, well, it's just language. It's a different language. It's Ebonics and cultural different languages. And so in that language frame, what I really liked was that what came out of that was the idea that people use English, for example, is popular all over the world because it has the greatest economic utility right now. So when people learn a language, they learn the language that has the highest social utility first, number one, and then only later the highest economic utility. If those are both the same language, terrific. But they'll learn and use whatever language has the highest social and economic utility. The challenge right now in institutions is that students are using this language that has very high social utility for them, very quick, text messagey, no grammar, that kind of stuff, language, while the faculty in general are still thinking from the economic utility perspective and saying, no, you need to know how to behave. So I think that's a wonderful way to look at it, because it doesn't make anybody wrong. It's just a different language. And the students can be right in terms of using the language that has the highest social utility to them right now, while still being encouraged to speak other languages as appropriate and as a way of being respectful in various contexts. So I like that a lot. The challenge of the day. Long day with the faculty of talking about the frustrations and what happens if we put up a wiki page and somebody's going to go in and edit it and mess it up. And well, we can't use text messaging because we have this emergency text messaging system, and we don't want to clutter the communication channel. And all of these sort of conceptual, philosophical, do faculty belong on Facebook? Are we invading their space? The abstract notions of why we can't do these things. That's what I spent the day talking about. I think that's important. I think it's a good conversation. And when my day was broken up into these little hour-long chunks, all of that time, most of that time, was spent in those conversations, which I think is very important, to have it in a conversational format, not just me telling them what I think. And then I leave, and then the hour's over, and it's not solved because there's not a right or wrong. It's just people talked about it, and I think with people that believe that changed their mind or already believed, faculty should be on Facebook, for instance, or Facebook should be used for marketing. I don't give them the task list, the content that comes after the context, the steps 1 through 10. So I think it's a frustrating dynamic for them, and I think it's a frustrating dynamic for me, because I feel like context comes before content, so that conversation really matters. It wouldn't work the other way. If I walked in and said, do these 10 things, they would just push back. Step 2 is you're already on Facebook, then that's what they just wouldn't do it. It would be a book that was never read. So I don't know. Context matters. The conversation around context matters. And yet, once people get to the other side and say, okay, I kind of believe it, what do I do now? I have to have a solution for that. And it's really hard with speaking in an hour to do both. To get the majority of people to get on the same page, on the same mindset, and then to give them that task list. So I think it goes back to a lot of the thinking that we've done for a long time, where context is best in person and content needs to be delivered on the web, or can be delivered on the web, so it should be. So, I'll go home and work on the wiki and try and get that top 10 list, and then email it back. So that's my thought in beautiful Kansas.